Okay, sorry about that false start. Okay, welcome to Deconstructing the Construct, episode 48. And I guess the subject of the day is, did the seventh wave start on the 31st of July, as Lulu said it would? And I've had a lot of questions around the other waves, so probably should give those, talk a little bit about those first. The waves varied in length from 3 days to, I think, about 8 weeks. And we were never given a heads up on when the next one would start. I think there was once where we could energetically feel it and did receive confirmation shortly after that it had started. I think there was once where we thought we felt it, but it wasn't. And that would be the other 4 times we had no heads up whatsoever. Until that notice, which was about 6 weeks before 31st of July, the 6th wave had ended earlier than expected, and that we would just have to wait now for the 7th to start on that date. For some reason, that particular moment was locked in. Don't know why. And I'm just going to try and bring up the chat here. I'll just refresh. Maybe you can do that. So, did the 7th wave start? The first things that caught my attention, which I did actually put into the comments on YouTube for the last DTC, was a Schrodinger's cat blog that I can bring up. Now, these cats, whoever they are, they felt something take place around that time. I have had a couple of emails back and forth with these guys. Something just happened, and then they've gone and chronicled a heap of graphs that they went and checked out to see if they could see what happened. So the website, if you want to go and check it out, it's pretty cool, is schrodingersothercat.blogspot.com. The other thing that caught my attention was the WSO video. Now, I actually did have all these up as links earlier before we had news, but it's not telling me on here that I'm live now. Why not? And it's this one. Strong magnetic interactions and the heart, which I won't get into playing now, but that's the one. Strong magnetic interactions in the heart. They posted it on the 30th. And what they noticed was, from what I understand from memory, that the magnetic fields that from both the north and south kind of expanded and met for the first time that anyone's known. Since then, there's been quite a bit. I mean, if you're watching these shows, then I'm pretty sure you're also keeping an eye on all those channels that we mentioned: Mr. MBB, WSO, Secure Team, Other Sky, sky watching channels. And there's been some interesting stuff, and things have changed yet again in terms of what's being seen and videoed and photographed in the sky. The interesting thing, one of the interesting things, obviously, there's many, is the moon, and only a few people are talking about it from what I can see. Now, to my knowledge, as long as recorded history's been around, we've had a moon that has waxed and waned, say, from left to right. And what we've got now, and most of us have seen it with our own eyes, is a moon that waxes and wanes top to bottom. I call it the boat when it's at the bottom, because that's what it looks like. And it would imply that there's been a 90-degree angle shift. Are we actually streaming? Because there's nothing coming up on the screen on YouTube. You want to refresh the page? You guys in YouTube seeing? Yeah, okay. I've got it. Yeah. Okay, now we were also told that in the seventh wave, all would be seen. And if you're keeping an eye on all of the, not just the sky stuff, but the geopolitical and everything else, you'll know that a lot is coming out. But I believe it means more than that. Not just what we're going to see be exposed in terms of the corruption and the fraud and all of that on a geopolitical level, but all will be seen in terms of the nature of reality, mainly. All will be seen in terms of who we really are. And every wave has had a different flavour to it. And since the 31st of July in particular, but even leading up to that, in that 6-week period before it started, what is being expressed by a lot of people that I'm seeing is all their fears, the things that they've avoided, the things that they haven't wanted to look at, the things that were just too hard or too hopeful or too whatever to really deal with, have become unavoidable, and they've had to face their biggest fears. That really did kick in July. The other thing that I've noticed just recently is the dream, and I mean in the last week, is the dreams have taken on a whole new level of, what's the word I was looking for? Realness, I guess, but not that. People are having real experiences during sleep, myself included. Okay, so I haven't had a look at the YouTube chat just yet. I'm trying to. If I can't find you though, can you type something in so I can find you? And then I can potentially make you. I think you're now a moderator. Yes. Okay. Now, one of the members who claims to be too intelligent for his own good, and we very much appreciate him. We did receive a message from Lilo last week And she ended the message. Essentially, the message was just letting us know just how much is going on from her end. Because as talked about before, this is bigger than just us. This involves everybody everywhere. So it was a bit of an update on just how much is going on. But she ended that message with a series of numbers, a code. And I've got that up somewhere. Here we go. The number sequence was 11, 77, 33, and 11. And it was plotted like this. Taking, because Lily said the seventh wave could last up to 4 weeks. So that was plotted as a number of days, a linear line of completion, and then an exponential. And you can see that we really don't start to see major changes until we hit around the 25th of August, which is when it's about 90% done. And that's kind of what that looks like. Well, that is what that looks like on a line graph, where you've got this exponential curve. Now, the other thing about that is, sorry, just give me a minute to bring this up. Okay. Nope, not that one. Next one. Where we're at right now on that scale, we've come up to approximately 0.1% of the changes that we should see. And these are both internal. It's an individual inside job as well as external. So this is an interesting observation. And it feels pretty accurate. The one thing I would like to ask you guys, we've talked about this for months, about people leaving kind of en masse. I myself had somebody pass this last week, and we were also told that those who are leaving, as in dying, will cause a flash. Now, this is another thing that's also been a lot of videos on, these flashes. People are actually, I've seen one once inside with my own eyes, but I also saw one last night in the sky. I mean, it just goes like that. So there was no get a camera. That every time somebody passes, there will be a flash in the sky, and eventually the dome will crack. The number of deaths I have heard about in the last few days from people I know is excessive. Anybody else, either in Zoom or on YouTube? Has there just been an uptick? John, could you just mute, because you're a host, could you mute the open mic for me? Oh, I am sorry, Kat. Kat's aunt died this morning.
Thank you. It's okay, though. I'm very happy that she's not in pain anymore. Thank you, though.
You personally have lost like 4 or 5 people lately, just in the last month, maybe.
Quite a few. Starting from the beginning of the summer.
Okay, there's lots of, oh, yep, somebody on YouTube, 2 friends of both their husbands had died recently. People are seeing the flashes. My auntie passed 3 weeks ago in her sleep. Record amount of lightning strikes. That night that there was a record number of lightning strikes, to my knowledge, from on the energetic, there was a huge data exchange. And there's kind of this loose theory that the lightning, this lightning that we're seeing that's not accompanied with a storm at all, what do they call it, dry lightning and things like that, is actually data exchanges, information coming in and going out. And that night there was a lot of information being transferred. And I woke up the next morning to the news about all of those record number of lightning strikes. No fear here. I don't know what you're frightened of. Yeah. 47 volcanoes going off. Then I suggest you go back and listen to previous videos. You can't take any one of these episodes in isolation, unfortunately, because the bigger picture is very big, and all of the information that has led up and happened piece by piece by piece by piece. You can't take any one of these episodes in isolation and then think you understand what I'm saying or what we're sharing. You need to have the bigger context. It's too big to go in and do a recap every week to show how each piece fits in. That's just too big. If anybody in Zoom wants to come out and share anything in terms of their own observations about what's happened since the 31st, please let me know. And I'm sorry, I haven't been keeping up with chat, so I don't know. Oh, Gina lost an aunt on the 6th as well. Wow. Anybody in Zoom want to come out? What to expect? Sorry, John, you have to repeat that. The 31st of July was the beginning of the 7th and final wave, is what I've been told. And in regards to how this all ends, the only thing I've been told is that it ends with the greatest flash the universe has ever seen. So started on the 31st. It will go up to 4 weeks, can last for up to 4 weeks, and then end in the greatest flash or the biggest flash. And if you want to go back and hear Lilu saying that, although I don't think in that one she says about the greatest flash, but in terms of the date, it is on my website, accompanying episode 46, I think, or 47. It was on YouTube separately, but people were coming across it on its own without any context for it and completely confusing them. So I took it off YouTube, which is creating more questions and answers. But what have you guys actually experienced? She did. I haven't. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Oh, I didn't talk. I was going to talk. I thought I'm not going to leave you hanging.
No,
yeah. No, I have since the 31st. I have experienced personally a feeling more and more and more that, and I know this sounds weird, but more and more like I'm not here. More and more like I'm wanting to. I'm a little anxious to complete some things that I really don't care about. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the biggest thing is the feeling that I'm not here, and the feeling that nothing really matters. There's like nothing left to do. And as much as I try to build in the future space, it's like there's no space there to build. It's like nothing there to grasp onto. There's nothing to reach out to. And I'm sure that didn't sound good, but that's what has happened to me since the 31st, in an extreme way for me, which is why I'm mentioning it.
The number of people I've heard say, I'm just not here. I don't know where I am, but I'm not present. I mean, I do that too. And we've joked over the years about these dementia moments where you cannot seem to retain any information. It's across the board of ages. And, it's not that everybody is in a certain age bracket. We're talking about people in their 20s as well, or teenagers even, are acting like they've got Alzheimer's.
Yeah, and I've got to tell you, there's many times I've stopped and said to myself, should I go to the doctor? Am I getting dementia? Am I getting some kind of old people disease? Am I getting older? Blah, 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 blah. And I mean, I went to the doctor. I've had all the tests. Everything is 100% A-okay. There's nothing wrong with me.
Okay, so I've had all kinds of answers in here, from there's not enough room to write what's gone on for me, to the same feeling you've got absolutely zero interest in anything. What else? Vivid dreams, and that feeling like there's nothing left to do. For those of you who've been around a while, look back as far as the One People Show days. And, or maybe not even that long, but the whole idea that all will be seen and everything is becoming transparent and things. I don't think that everything needs to be seen by everyone. I just think that it needs to be witnessed by one, even if it's just by one person. But what is becoming transparent at the moment? And I don't think we're going to get to the point where we do get the kind of resolution that we're looking for in that 3D sense. It just needs to be exposed and seen. Do we get to the point where Hillary is wearing an orange jumpsuit? I doubt it. But there is certainly a lot of information coming out and being exposed and being witnessed. I think that's all that's necessary. Okay. Well, it will be interesting to observe over the next, I don't know, maybe 12 days to see if we get that exponential curve. There's always been talk of a 3-day period, whether it's the 3 days of darkness or whatever. But if this graph is correct, then those last 3 days are going to be kind of outrageous. Ooh, interesting. It seems like we are in beta for Windows 50 and have been for a long time. Interesting. The menopause thing, the hot flushes, there's no way menopause can answer that for everybody, because we've got 20-year-old boys having them. So it's not just menopause. Sorry, someone was going to say something.
Yes. Hi, Lisa. This is Terry Davis.
Hi, Terry.
Hey. I was thinking about what you were saying about, of course, people passing on. My mom passed peacefully. I was glad to know that she did pass peacefully at the 28th of June. And I'm sorry I didn't write it down. I should have, but I remember driving home from the movies with my husband, looking out the window and literally seeing huge flashes of light. They were circular, they were round, but no sound. But they were huge, like what you would see in a public affair with the what you'd see with the flashes that you would see with. I'm trying to say the word and it's not coming to me. At a July the 4th event.
Like fireworks.
Fireworks, thank you. It looked like fireworks, but there was no sound. And the interesting thing is that they were huge, and they came in rapid fire, like about 5 to 6 of them were showing in my view, and I'm looking at it in astonishment. I've never seen anything like this before. Not that large, not that. And it was like, is anybody else watching this? Am I the only one? But I was the only one that saw it. Just happened to look outside my window, driving down the street from the highway, and there were these huge flashes of light. So I don't know what that's all about. I made mention of that to my dear friend Tamara and Katrina, because it was such an astonishing thing to witness. So there you have it. And that was interesting with what you said. It brought that back to my mind. Oh, yeah. So I just want to share that.
Well, thank you, Terry. And somebody in the YouTube chat said, I've got that right now in NJ. Is that New Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
I've had a friend in New York say he saw like a black cube UFO type thing just hovering in the air, and he was waiting for the people around him to notice it. No one else seemed to notice it. He just sort of like, okay, I'm not seeing that. Oh, there was another big UFO supposed UFO sighting in Melbourne here that even made the mainstream TV as well. Yes, Yellow Rose for Texas speaks of huge fireworks in the sky before the shift or event transition. And those of you who do follow Rose know that she says we've always been like on this vertical axis, and then we do this, we go horizontal, change 90 degrees, and then we get towed out, in a nutshell. And our shift in perspective to the moon would imply that we have done some sort of 90-degree shift. Her fireworks in the sky could well be a different explanation for what we've been told, which is the flashes in the sky. Dreams of flashes in the sky. Tara, you are missed, my girl. Good to see you. Okay, so who has, whether you're in Zoom or YouTube, have you come across any articles, blogs, videos that have really, for you, kind of made you go, maybe something did happen?
There was a line in this week's Gaia portal that did that. I'll post it in the chat. I can't remember what it said, but there was one of the lines in there was interesting to me.
Okay, thank you. Daryl, you want to say what that was?
Well, it's not really just it's just the miscellaneous things that I've been reading over time that have been kind of confirming exactly what has been going on with me since that 31st date. So as John pointed out, that the 31st was the beginning, not the not the final. And since that date, I mean, we've covered it on calls before, whereas the washing away of the things that are not needed within the self, the ego, or parts of the ego, the doubt, the guilt, the self. I won't say self-hatred, but the self-displeasure of the choices that we've made in the past is all starting. It's easier to fall away now, and it's easier to see what it is and where it comes from and why it's been hitting us so hard. I've been finding that, and even on the call yesterday, the miscellaneous anger that came in, from a conversation with Krista and a few other people on the call, it's exactly what you said. As long as you see it and witness it, it disappears, and it's instant. This isn't something that's the creation that is going on right now is instant, and it's beautiful because as soon as I saw it and saw it for what it was, it's gone, and it hasn't been back since, and it won't be back. So there was a massive change on the 31st for sure. I will 100% guarantee that the things that are coming in to me, like exactly what you're talking about, the articles and stuff like that, everything has been very synchronistic. I'm reading and watching things for a reason, and I don't know what that reason is until after that video or article is over, and I'm just, oh, I get it now. I get it. It's part of this clearing process, and it's been. I'm not going to say it's been easy, because anytime that you clear, it's painful. And it is emotionally painful sometimes, but the process of getting to the things that we need to clear has been easy, if that makes any sense.
Yep, it does.
So that's what I've been seeing.
Thank you. I've actually got a photo here, which I think was shared with me on Facebook, which is cool. Oh, where'd it go? That's pretty. And you can clearly see two sources of light there. But there was a whole series of photos taken like that and shared with me on Facebook. And somebody in YouTube, and I think I've lost it, but asked about the blue sun. We were told, now again, this is my visual concept, and it could be way wrong, but it's what is helping me to navigate this concept, that we have I imagine it as a cube, the construct, and within the construct there are many realms, of which this is one, potentially the first realm inside the construct. And that there is a blue sun inside all of the realms, and they are connected, that you can travel and communicate between the realms via these blue suns. That's the way I understand it. I hadn't heard about a blue sun until it was till Lilo and Ho mentioned it. I have noticed that WSO is now making references to a blue sun or a blue planet and a blue magnetic planet, and that's what they think is coming in. Also, if you can get past that blinding white when you look at the sun, many people I haven't been able to get there yet, but many people are able to sort of see past it, see through it, and they are seeing blue. I had that one instance, which I did talk about ages ago when it happened, of being told that, I think it was one of the dragons, my energy is now in your sun, go and have a look. Went outside, looked at the sun, and it was nothing but a blue circle. It was easy to look at. I didn't have to squint, I didn't have to try and see past the white blinding thing. It was just there. So there are colors, if you can get past it. I get to the point where I can see the pink, but I can't see the blue yet. But I know many have. We were told that the earthquake and volcanic activity is a part of this. It's the lead up to the flash. It's all a part of it. About 5 stars were lined up in the sky in a straight, stars were lined up in a straight line about 2 nights ago. I looked to the left for 5 seconds, looked around, and they were gone. Yeah, because stars do that all the time. Anything else I should have not missed? Sorry, what? What? The blue starship. The blue starship or planet by Jupiter, WSO showed on his video yesterday. Oh, okay. I will go and have another look. Thank you. The only update from Lulu since the 31st, as I said, I've heard from her once, and she was basically sounding like she was as busy as a blue-ass fly, as we like to say down here, giving us an update on all the things that are happening from her end. As I said, this is bigger than just us. There has been, and I think we talked about it in the last one, the references to the zodiacs. There is references to the beings that we share this realm with that are just outside our visual range. And we keep being prompted to practice seeing beyond. From what I understand, a lot of the limitations are gone, but we're still operating as same old, out of probably just habit at this point. To practice, try practicing by looking through the sun you practice by looking in, trying to see in the air itself, look up at the sky and see, try and see into the air. People are seeing what they're calling spider webs. That Hopi prophecy that a lot of people are well aware of. I mean, when it came to the reference of spider webs, I know that firstly, I think it was train tracks. That must be what the spider webs are. And then it was roads. And then it was the internet. And, oh, sorry, then it was electricity lines. And then it was the internet. But based on what people are seeing now, they're seeing this web-like structure in the air. More inclined to think that that's what it's in reference to. Is Lulu shocked that more of us haven't arrived home yet? She actually hasn't said anything about how many from this realm, seventh wave, have gone home. And the implication has always been that the majority would all go at once when the flash happens. At least that's the way I've understood it. Mind you, I've misunderstood things before, so who knows? Getting lots of blue flashes in your peripheral. Yes, I've had one. I can't see it. Where are you sending it? Oh, there's the Gaia portal. Primaries, primaries of foundations come to the fore. Elements of Jupiter handiwork are perceived and applauded. Energetic fountains move to the excuse me, humanity skies. Fresh awareness is attained. Okay. Oh, is this an interpretation? The fresh awareness is attained. The primaries of the foundations come to the fore. Okay, it's Gaia portal. I don't know. What does it mean? What did you take away from it, Russ? Because I've never heard it.
Well, no, I agree. And it is like, what? It's like it has some, it's like sometimes I read those, a lot of the times I read those, and it's like, I know there's something in this. I have no idea what, I mean, I'm just being honest. But for some reason, when I read that first line, sorry, I'm searching back for it now. Where did it go? Oh, right there. Primaries of foundations come to the fore. I guess it was when I was thinking about that, for some reason that stood out to me because it was kind of along the lines of what Yoga Rose said, in that, you know, something is getting ready to close out or something ready. And, you know, you hear about the pole shifts and the red kachinas and the blue kachinas. And it just, to me, it just says primary. So basics, the basic foundations have come to the fore, meaning the foreground, to me, meaning we're always going to be seen with it, was kind of my interpretation or take on it. Like it's coming to the fore. We're going to be able to see it. That's why I kind of got excited about that line. Sorry, I get excited easily over simple things.
Thank you. Okay, a couple of questions that I've missed. Why does Thomas Williams from the Truth, Honor and Integrity speak bad of you? I don't know. You have to ask him. I have never had anything to do with him. So I don't know. Will bots be exposed at the end of the seventh wave? No idea. I don't know. I do know that there's a lot of people who channel or have visions that, or see this new earth, or see this new space, and there's a lot less people in it. So perhaps if there is this shift in perception, or it feels like we've actually gone somewhere, that anything that is part of the program just doesn't go with us, or is no longer in our perception. So that could be interpreted as exposed, I guess, but I don't think, I don't know. What's the last day of the seventh wave? Well, there isn't a specific day. It was just that it would start on the 31st and go up to 4 weeks. So if you're in the States, I guess that's about the 29th, if you want to be, you know, rigid about it, but no particular day. Oh, if that Thomas, whatever his name is, Thomas Williams, has got a bug up his ass about the OPPT or Heather, then he probably doesn't like me either for that reason. How is the seventh wave different from other forms of end of the world is nigh? It's not the end of the world is nigh. No. I guess it all depends on your concept of what this place is. Whatever your view of reality is and what the end of that means. And whether or not you see that as death and destruction, or graduation, or rebirth, or going home, or so it is a very personal perspective, I think. Do I know anything about the hybrid children? No, I don't. Can you please put your questions in all caps so just to help me grab them? Yep. Sent me another one. I think so. How do you see this? What's your opinion? I don't know what the context is. Anyone hear or talk about the Rainbow Bridge? There's been no references to a Rainbow Bridge from Lulu, if that's what you mean. Please recap your experience. You mean since the 31st? You're sending me images now. I don't know what you're sending me. You're just sending me icons. My experience since the 31st. It's been a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster. And from the get-go, it's been this journey with Lulu in particular, but in general, has been about getting into your heart. And right now, over the last, probably, since the 31st, there has been, it's as if the heart and the head are trying to come into resonance, into alignment. And there is friction as the two are finding balance. Because it seems to be that there's been a lot of flip-flopping into the heart, back into the head, into the heart, back into the head, into the heart, back into the head. And over the last few days, since my friend passed, and his message was always, get into your heart, get out of your head, get into your heart. That this merge feels like it's kicked in, and it hasn't been comfortable. There's been quite a bit of friction as they're finding balance. Yes, like when listening to people talk, right, as I have these conversations with lots of people all the time, it's like when I feel into it, you know, when I get into my heart, this is how it feels. This is what I feel is going to happen. But then my head kicks in and I try to write all of that off and get really logical. When most people feel into where they're at and where we're at and what's going to happen, it feels to them like this whole experience is genuine, it's real, it's happening. And whatever your storyline is, whatever your narrative is, whatever you think the shift looks like, that it's all true and it's all happening. And then you get into your head and you find all kinds of reasons not to. But I haven't had a conversation yet that I can recall where someone has said to me, when I feel into it, it doesn't feel like anything's happening. It doesn't feel like something isn't going to happen. Does that make sense? How does this hit? How much contact with Lulu do you still have? It varies. I can hear from her 2 or 3, 4 times in 1 week and then not for 2 weeks. There's no pattern. Do you think in 12 days we'll have the event? Yeah. Do I think? I'm trying not to. Do I feel? I had a real physical, energetic response when my friend showed me that graph that he created based on those numbers. It was big. So there feels to me like there is a truth to this exponential curve. I can say that. What it looks like at the end, I don't know. I can only tell you what I've been told, which is that we will get the greatest or the biggest flash, and that home will be seen. My body aches all the time with fatigue, yeah. Also common at the moment. Oh, I've been touched this week by an unseen force. What is this? That's another common one at the moment. People are feeling like someone's tapping them on the shoulder or touching them on the arm, or, you know, you're being physically touched by something. And a lot of people are starting to see. You know, we always get, well, not we always, but seeing things in your peripheral vision, or seeing the shadows, or seeing, you know, figures, whatever in your peripheral, is not that uncommon. Never has been. But there's been an uptick in people being able to see things and beings front on, and the number has certainly increased. So, and then if you relate that to what we've been told, is that now we're all in the same space. We've all probably always been in the same space, but the veil between all the different layers of the realm, you know, where different beings exist, is thinned. It's so much more. The other thing which may tie in is when we got a message in regards to the being called Earth, it was that she supports all life in this realm, the living and the dead. Now, it may well be that if this place has been a trap and we have not been able to get out, and we've been locked in this false recycling system, that the realm that we go to, or have gone to traditionally, when we die, although many, I believe, from there have gone home, and that realm has been wiped. If that realm has been wiped, then those who haven't gone home would be sharing the same space as us. There's that too, potentially. By the end of the 7th wave, we should be purged of the virus completely, right? I won't have to pay any more income tax. And you've sent me that 3 times.
Oh, sorry.
And some more icons.
Oh my goodness.
Same here on the touching. It feels like one of my cats is rubbing against me or rolling over next to me, but there was no cat there. Oh, that's funny, because I heard someone say something about cats on their bed yesterday too that aren't there. Is something blocking it from happening? I think there are many attempts to block it from happening, but I don't think they're working too well. There are many attempts to block our vision from seeing what is happening. A lot of the geoengineering, for example, whether it's chemtrails or fake manufactured storms or sun simulators and all of that, I think they're all attempts to get us to stop seeing what's happening, but they're not really blocking it out completely, obviously. We're seeing a lot still. There was a dream, and again, this is another one of these like visceral, literal experience dreams, where someone felt they saw home, and then this masculine energy and voice just tried to taunt them. You can't go there. Don't go there. You don't want to go there. And if you try to go there, I'll kill you. It's like, really? That's all you got? And as soon as he called it, it went away. And he felt this incredible bliss. And we've been told as long as free will exists, then yes, they have the free will to mess with and try and divert and do what they've always done right up until the end. Are you still in contact with Andrew Norton? No, I haven't been for years. So I'm not really, and I do get asked that a lot actually, because he just sort of disappeared off the scene. So no, I don't know. Can I show you the graph again? Yes, I can. There it is that way. So as you can see, we're not seeing, where are we today? The 18th for me. It's still not even a 1% of change. We start to see some real change around the 25th of August, when this thing is 90% done. And that's what it looks like on a line graph. So for those of you who want to take a screenshot, I'm sure you're doing it right now. There you go. Okay, any other questions? Okay, has anybody in Zoom got any questions or comments they want to make now? Oh, and the graph was based on a series of numbers that Lulu ended her latest message with last week, which were 11, 77, 33, and 11. And they're not joints. They're organic tobacco cigarettes. I have to explain that.
Might be good to point out that based on the graph that was just shown, okay, the linear line, the one that goes straight up, is what most people expect to see in terms of a progression, as in this much and then this much, and we expect to see, you know, a very linear progression to 100%. Whereas in practice, what we're seeing is actually more exponential, as in we see very, very, very minute changes for the longest time until it suddenly starts ramping up, and it ramps up in a huge way.
There you go, what he said. Thank you. I don't know what the numbers mean. It's not the first time she's left numbers or codes. And I'm not mathematically inclined, shall we say. So someone else usually comes together with an interpretation of what they mean. No more questions there. Yeah, JJ, did you want to say something? Go for it.
Yeah, but I've got to hook up a different microphone so I don't have all this echo. Hang on.
Okay, no worries. How do I feel about where we're heading during the seventh wave? Are you optimistic? Yeah, I mean, if this wave information is true, and we are you can't sort of pick it to pieces. It's either true, all true, or it's not true at all. So either this seventh wave, this series of waves, is designed to close out this construct so that we can all go where we're calling home, or it's not. So there is no part of this wave process that is negative or leads to anything negative from what I can gather. So yeah, if it's real, then yes, there's only good at the end of it. It doesn't stop on the 25th. It just went for 4 weeks from the American 30th, my 31st. He just did 4 weeks, which would took him up to like the 28th or 29th. Things are changing. I'm changing. Yep. How was my birthday? It was lovely. Thank you. Chart is that chart is an interpretation of those numbers and what those numbers look like plotted in different ways. No, Lulu has not made any reference to Sam. What are you shaking your head about? That's funny. I've seen a couple of things. What has impacted your perception on the construct into 31st or this year in general? My perception of this place hasn't changed since then. Maybe the code is a frequency, could be. Ears are ringing more than ever. It's driving me nuts right now. Yeah, for those who are inclined to hear tones, I am hearing that there is a whole new tone. I had a message from someone who wasn't aware of the date, who told me the day before, I think it was the 30th it started. She started to hear a whole new frequency, a whole new tone coming in. And she described it like running your finger on a wine glass. And she said, it's beautiful, it's harmonic. And we've talked before about how the ringing in the ears or the pain, even like high pitch, for some people, they have been able to determine what's positive, home, loving, supportive, and what's from the construct, so to speak. And that one ear or the other will be, like, for some the right is home and the left is construct, and for others vice versa. This particular friend who has been hearing the tones for a very long time, and the minor details and even the layered frequencies within them, has said that this new one's come in, and for her it's on the left, and it feels like it's very, like I said, harmonic and beautiful and supportive. And then there's this other very discordant, high-pitched one on the right, and they're kind of battling it out right now. But this is a new frequency that's come in and started, I think it was the 30th for her. So if you are someone who does hear tones, especially if it's in both ears, see if you can discern for yourself if there is a different source. Like I said, like say home versus construct. Sometimes you get a really nice one in from the home one, and then you get what we call blowback from the construct one. Or a negative thing will come in from the construct, and then a nice one will come in and push it out. See if that happens. A few people have been hearing the layered tones. It's like a tone of a singing bowl. Yeah. Wine glass. It's perfect. Oh, good. Okay. Have you seen the codes 0010110? Zeros and ones is the code supposedly that this construct is written in. Where is the dome now? 1% or come down more? The dome that we were measuring was at the energetic dome, and it hit ground level and dispersed some time ago. I can't remember when, actually. You have the glittery crystalline skin. I haven't noticed it on myself, but I've certainly heard a lot of people talking about it. JJ, if you're ready, go for it.
All righty then. I wrote up a little small conclusion to the date that we were given and what dates mean and all that sort of stuff. And the long and short of it is what I learned from this last predicted date is that I shouldn't pay attention and expect an ending on a specific date. All along, it's been the progress or the events that have happened have all been event driven. In other words, certain specific situations need to happen, kind of like dominoes. You have to have this happen before that happens before the next, and it's not date specific. It's far too complex for that. There's a lot involved. There's a lot of things that have to get lined up and happen before the next thing happens, ... But the real takeaway is if I drop my expectation and instead carry on with my life, do what I like to do what's fun, do what's creative, do what involves me in my joy, in my fun, in doing those things I enjoy doing. That seems to be, at least in my mind, a catalyst, a way of engaging myself and preparing myself for this transition because I'm already engaged in creative endeavors. I'm already looking to do what's the best thing for me and my circumstance and whatever to do, because it seems to be after this event kicks, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We are going to be creative. We are going to be involved in fun and engaging activities. And so by starting now means that we're sort of getting a leg up, or we're getting half a step in that direction. And one of the things that I've noticed about being engaged and being creative is it's the little things that sometimes say so little but mean so much, in that we're all looking for big stuff. We're all looking for the big sign, the big flash, the whatever. But oftentimes the indicators that we're on the right path, that we're moving forward, that things are happening, are the little small things. And we oftentimes just overlook them. And we just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever that was. But if you pay attention to the little things, that means your awareness is more focused on your now. And that's where, at least to me and my understanding, that's where it's going to happen, is now. Not at some date, not at some future time, although it will happen on some date at some future time, but it will be now when it happens. And so by focusing on my now and being creative, I'm preparing myself to help the process, to be in an optimal state when it happens. In other words, I'm getting aligned to it. And it seems like that's really important right now.
I agree. I do. And I mean, we've talked about it being event driven for a long time, and yet we would still get every now and then these energetic hits on certain dates. And they were, I mean, for one, if I got the hit, it was significant for me. And sometimes it was significant for more people, and other people would get dates and they'd be significant for them, but not for me, or significant for a group of people. And I don't know why. I haven't had a chance to ask, really, but we don't really know why that date at that time was significant. But it seemed to have been, because even when the other waves have finished earlier than expected, they were able to then start the next wave straight away. But for whatever reason, that didn't happen this time, that we had to wait out those 6 weeks until that moment. So there was obviously something, and maybe it was, again, events in the background that needed to happen, even though the 6th wave had finished. I'm not sure. There are a few more questions. I'm going to ask for 20 seconds. I will be right back. Don't go away. Then don't. Okay. All right, quite a few questions. I've been having strange chatter like one would have after a very loud concert, and it's increasing. Don't know what it is exactly. That might tie into something else, which is, have you shared anything about a process some are going through in regards to integration with their higher selves, and if so, what this may look like for some? What there has been is an increase in people having these experiences either in dream time, or when they're not quite asleep, they're in that little what I call the sweet spot, where they feel like they're waking up somewhere else, and they're actually seeing the environment that they're in. They're seeing themselves in a, like in a hospital bed, but it's not clinical like that. People are checking in on them. People are trying to wake them up. People are trying to get their attention. There's a lot of that. There's a lot more of that happening. It's like glimpses. It's like someone slowly coming out of a coma and then drifting back in again. So there's that. If that could well be in those little brief moments of integration with what you're talking about, your higher self, and that in terms of what you're hearing, like conversations, because you're tuning into somewhere else a little bit more than you're tuning into here. And I hope that makes sense. So where's that one? Who wrote that one? find it funny, to be honest, that so many people can be expressing experiences, personal experiences, what they're observing globally, what they're seeing in the skies, what's going on in their own lives, what's going on within themselves. And it's like huge and massive. And other people can say, nothing's happening. Nothing. It's all full of shit. I don't know how you can look up at the sky and see the moon has changed to on a 90-degree angle and go, yeah, that's normal. Nothing's happening. I don't know how you can see videos and photos of 2 or 3 suns or sources of light in the sky and go, nothing's happening. I don't know how you can see what's going on politically, geopolitically, economically. The stuff that's coming out about the pedophiles and the religious organizations and all of that and go, nothing's happening. It's all shit. It's all bullshit. Nothing's going on. I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that can happen, to be honest. And if you don't believe, and I'm not asking you to believe, let's get that one straight. I'm sharing my experience. I'm sharing on behalf of those who share their experiences with me. And if they're not your experience, if you don't resonate with it, then find something you do. Find something that does work for you. Stop wasting your time listening to people you think are full of shit, just so that you can abuse them for being full of shit. Go and be a little bit more productive than that. Please, find something that does feel right. Find something that you think is supporting you in your story. Stop wasting your time with things that don't. I've experienced waking up feeling like I'm in a void, no sound, no feeling, nothing, like I'm nowhere. Anyone else? That I haven't heard before. You think we will create the flash? I think it's a combination of things. Yes, I think it comes from us, but I think it's coming from us and something coming from outside, and the two meet. For as long as I can remember, I've been saying this is an individual inside job. And although what I'm sharing is what I pick up on as themes, your personal experiences may not fit into those themes. Because we've all done different work on ourselves. There are things that I've looked at, I've really worked on, I feel like I've cleared, whatever, and you haven't touched it, and vice versa. There are things that I've avoided that you've really done the work on, and so that's sorted for you. But I mean, I can be going through stuff that you've already worked, you sorted that out 20 years ago. Okay? But this is, I've avoided it until now. So it's my turn. I mean, I can't obviously tell everybody's story, but what I can do is try and find the themes. And that's what I pick up on. So I hope that makes sense. And don't feel like you're on your own if you're having an experience that I haven't talked about, because it just means I haven't heard it enough for it to be a theme. There will be people who are going through what you're going through. They're just not telling me about it. No, saw a woman struggling to come out of my ceiling, but she was half visible, long hair and a dress. Interesting. Okay, Flower Girl. This wasn't my prediction. Okay. This was Lilu giving me a date for the beginning of the 7th wave. And as has been shared here, for many people, something shifted. That is all I can tell you. For me, overall, it has been for the better. However, there are aspects of it that are difficult, especially if there's, I mean, there were certain flavors. Each wave had a flavor, and some of them were really hard. Like, again, as a theme, there was a lot of people who expressed the release of guilt or anger, and this one seems to be fears, like confronting your worst fears. Okay, is there any other? Randy Green video I just listened to disclosed that July 31st was when our timeline was looped back to 2007. Our old controllers that have left did this. Interesting. On the 8th, again, the 8th of August, I do believe there was an attempt at another reset, but it didn't work, is my take. There has been an uptick in, let's say, division and separation energies, or at least there was leading up to the 8th. From the 31st, that first week, the 31st to the 8th of August, there was a big push to create more separation and division and confusion, I mean, to me, that all felt like construct blowback. It was trying to interfere with the energy that the 7th wave is bringing. But on the 8th, for me, that ended. That was cut. Okay, that's going by too fast. Okay, I'm missing it. I saw a person walk through my bathroom and into my bedroom and disappear this week. I've woken up with sounds of breaking glass and loud whispering from my headphones. See, I mean, people are hearing and seeing things that they haven't before, stuff that's new for them. I was going to say something before. What was it? About that energy from that first week. No, it's gone. Sorry. I wonder what it will take to awaken those who are asleep. Actually, that's probably what it was. As this seventh wave is progressing, we had that first week where it felt like a lot, like I said, a lot of divisive energy came in. And it was designed to undermine us, to create doubt, to separate and divide. It was designed to do all that. And then on the 8th, it felt like it was interrupted, and that attempt at a reset was stopped. From the 8th, it's been like the inside individual job work has really kicked in, and not just for this aspect here, but for the bigger aspect of us as well. And like we are, and no matter what, I mean, whether you're on your own, like completely on your own in terms of support, people that you can talk to about this sort of stuff, or whether you're working with a group, or whether you've got a little network of friends, or you're involved in different Facebook groups or YouTube or communities or whatever, you'll know that you guys have operated a certain way, and you've communicated and supported each other in a particular way. And I'm wondering whether, regardless of the group that you're connecting with, whether that's shifted since, say, the 8th of August, because what I've found is that it really does feel like right now, and since that date, that we are in our own individual bubbles within the collective bubble of whatever group you're involved with, or community or family or whatever. And that the way that, how do I put this? You're in your own isolated little bubble, and you are dealing with your own shit. Oh, there's the other thing. Talk about themes. Dreams of shit, literally. Cleaning it up. It's been smeared on the walls. It's flowing out of toilets. It's everywhere. Dreams about having to clean up shit. And you're in your own little bubble, and all you're doing is dealing with your own shit. And you can't be supported or support others in the way you have before, because they're in their little bubble dealing with their shit. And that's what feels like has changed. And it's not just us here. It's like the bigger part of us is doing that work too. Can anyone relate to that? I've had those forever. You mean shit dreams or what? I had a dream where my father, who was with my mum, said to me, all will be explained soon. Dad died in 2004 and mum died in March of this year. Okay, there's a couple of yeses. Cleaning up your shitty thoughts, yeah. Okay. I've heard of people having dreams of shit. Yeah. I mean, we're still connected. We're still loving and supporting one another, but it's shifted. There's been a distinct shift for me in how that happens, because it's almost like Big Us has just retreated in a way to do their own inside individual job. Okay, again, the latest from Lulu was just an update on all the things that are happening, all the work that she's doing at her end, which was communicating with a lot of different people, both inside and outside this realm. A lot of bringing people up to speed. That's about it, really. And then she left us with that code. I guess to leave this on the note of what the biggest message for me has been since the 31st is the time for getting your internal work is now. Individual inside job time right now. Get into your heart again. The volume on that message just went way up. It feels like we are in a process of trying to align the head and the heart to work harmonically. Yeah, that's probably the strongest messages. Randy Green also said a reset was done on August 11. I can see why he might be thinking that. I've got a different take on it. Something has shifted that is allowing us to manipulate time a little better and navigate time a little better since the 31st. I've had Mondays. That song, I Don't Like Mondays. Mondays are disappearing, literally. It's kind of interesting. There is something about time that is fluctuating right now, and there has been a couple of loops and replays, but I don't feel they are legitimate resets at this point. I don't think there's been a legitimate reset since January, and that one bought 3 months, right, up until April. Hang on. Yeah, April. But there is funky stuff definitely going on with time. Little mini loops, little revisits, But not, I don't think it's a reset. Have you put any more for me in here? Or?
Lisa, I was just going to mention that the perception of these loops could be very, individual as well.
Louder.
Oh, sorry. I said that people's perceptions of resets or loops or whatever can be totally individual. Closing
Yes.
out individual loops, because that's been my personal experience anyway, and it can be mistaken for collective loops, if you will.
Or resets.
Yes.
Yeah, true. So it can be a personal revisit for you. Yeah, gotcha. Agreed. Any thoughts on the flux, the time travelers coming into the public the past 2 years? No. Okay. Anything else in here? Okay, any last questions? No. Okay, I'm not seeing. Whoop. Vivian, turn your video off, love. Or she's like, oh shit, I just went on YouTube. Did I ask Lila about the crop circles? Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to. She literally dumped that message and ran. But yeah, there was a couple of very interesting crop circles lately. Wasn't it on the 30th or the 31st that or just before, that the door in the circle showed up? Do you find people who resonate with the event to be familiar, like you know them? Some? What was the other crop circle that really stood out? Yes. The one that looks like a bubble with all these other little bubbles and rings inside them. That one, for me, felt like it was telling the story that we've been told, which is, again, this is so much bigger than us, that a whole new space has been created, and everything and everyone, all the other realms are being birthed into this new space. That's what I saw when I looked at that crop circle. Okay. Anything else from the Zoom crowd?
You did overlook one very important question that Scotty asked, and that is, why are you so awesome? You completely glossed over that question. We love you.
Thanks for that, Russ. Um, I saw the moon form a vesica Pisces at 3:45 a.m. on the day of July 30th. There were illuminated rings around the moon. Huh, why? I have no idea. But that's cool that you did see it. Sorry, Wesley. You could say the event is a bad time to quit. Be in the moment. Yeah. Although that's been a message for a very long time. We were told, hang on, when was it? It was a couple of days after the 31st. It wasn't from Lilu, it was from somebody else from home, that we are now in 0 point. I think it was like the second or third. No, it was early on. That we are in 0 point, that all the realms have merged. It is just about us making the adjustment to see it and be there and feel it and experience it. So staying in the moment, staying in 0 point, staying in the heart. And to me, that's how you stay in 0 point. I need a charger before someone dies. Our heads are doing a really, really good job of screwing with us. And the more you can get out of that space and into your heart, I mean, what a lot of us are finding is not only is there that feeling that you're just not here and present the way you should be, but you can't retain information, and yet you need it. It's there when you need it. So no concept of time, can't hold on to information, feeling like you've got Alzheimer's or some other condition, and yet things are there on recall when needed. Oh, weight gain. Apparently that's another thing too. Unexplained and sudden weight gain. So that might explain why is that why your clothes aren't fitting the way they should? Do I know about Wes Penray? He's been talking your talk too. I've followed and looked at Wes Penray's work on and off for years. Yeah. What's going on with timelines? I'm having dreams, knowing I'm dreaming, telling people I'm from New York. And are these those very literal experiential dreams where they're not really a dream? Those sorts? No, you seem to be a different shape now. Had the weight gain last month, now I'm into weight loss. Okay. No, I said unexplained weight gain. been a few cases of that. I've been gaining weight, gone from 79 to 92. Insomnia. I haven't been getting, no, I've got nothing on insomnia that's out of the normal, because that's been a theme for a while. I haven't seen anything change there. Okay, any others? You know, we've gotten to the point, and I kind of laugh at myself all the time. But it's like no matter what happens and what you see. I mean, I've personally seen the planes stop midair about 3 times now, just in the last month. Those around me have seen it. I'm not on my own. There'll be 3 or 4 of us all just looking at it going, okay, that's just there. And no matter what happens, no matter what video you find of some incredible phenomenon happening, it's not enough. When are things really going to change? When does it get big enough? When does it? It's like never happy, never satisfied. It's never enough, and I know that. So I'm right there. I've got beings talking to me through my computer, and it's become blasé. So I don't think we give ourselves credit sometimes on just how far we've come in what we can handle. But there's still that expectation and that feeling that it should be some monumental, global, everybody gets it at the same time event. And I do, because I've had that feeling all my life, that's what we're going to get. I still think that we are leading up to that. And it is incrementally getting faster and faster and faster in terms of the events and in terms of what we can get our heads around. And I do think that's what we're still building up to. But we want the big one now. I get it. I'm right there with you. Oh, someone's just asked if there's an affirmation, and I'm going to share something with you that myself and the group that I work with found very, very powerful. Hand on heart. And really get into that heart space. And if you don't know what that means, think of a memory, think of a person, think of an event that just fills your heart with love and joy until you can really feel yourself sitting in that place. And from that place, make up your own words. But what we got was, I choose home. I choose freedom. I choose unity. I choose peace. Add whatever you want to add. I choose love. Once you've gone through that process once, you may, there's been a variety of experiences when you go through that process. You may see something, you may feel something, you may both. Once you've done that once, then go back and repeat it in past tense. I have chosen home. I have chosen peace. I have chosen freedom, and then see what happens. It was putting it, I felt a shift. I felt an expansion in my chest when I did it the first time. But when I did it the second time, in past tense, it was profound. And what happened to me after that continued to happen for like 5 or 6 hours. It triggered something big for me personally, which I don't need to go into. Okay. If you feel like I'm stealing something from you, then I suggest you stop that. Because stop giving it to me. Fuck. There's little dots next to their names. You just click on those. It should give you choices. Racist? What? You're a racist. I'm a racist. Against what race? No, I think it's funny. What do you think about those of us who have been waiting for 45 years or more since birth? That we're all fucking tired, is what I think. I think we're ready. I don't know. I honestly do feel the whole volunteer thing is real. And I've talked about it before in other episodes in more detail, but because I do think we've tried to do this many, 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 many times before, and there just wasn't enough of us literally physically here to act as the receivers for the energies, to be activated by them, to emit the right frequencies, whichever language you want to call it. But this last time we had a whole heap of volunteers come in to make sure that we had the numbers. And many of those volunteers have had an inkling since they got here that there was a job to do. And those volunteers are ready to get the job done.
Ignore some of this stuff that's just come through. But just the question.
I've just got pages of nothing. Why won't she expose the course of implosion of Earth becoming a star? Because I don't know anything about that. People are starting to see auras for the first time in the last few months. That's cool. We were told that our vision would change and can change, and that we will see what is right in front of us. So I'm glad you're having that experience. Yeah, I don't know what else I've got there. That's just pages. All right. Doesn't seem to be any more questions. How long have we been going for? Over an hour? Oh, have we? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. I think that's it. All right. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate that very much. Hope some of this has helped. Scott, you're too kind. All right. Give us advice on how to remember what our mission is. I think the answer is the same to all these questions. Your heart knows. Listen to that. Yeah. Yeah, I must definitely be a volunteer because this place has always felt strange. But yeah, and all I know of in terms of that exercise I just shared is a positive result. And like I said, add your own words, add what's important to you, but keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate it. And make sure you're in that heart space when you do it. So. All right, I'll talk to you soon when there's something else to share. Thank you. Bye for now.